right, just want to test it out. It seems to be working.
Welcome back to the channel. I don't know if you're like me, but if you are, you probably spend a lot of time out on the water trying to catch your own live bait, or you spend a lot of money in bait shops buying your own bait. And unfortunately, sometimes our expectations far exceed our realities, and we're left with a lot of live bait at the end of the day. And unfortunately, we only had one of two options. We could throw it in the freezer or just let it go. But if we're lucky enough to live by the water, live on the water, have a friend that lives on the water, or have a boat slip on the water, there is another option, and that is for us to build our own bait pen. Now, I've never built a bait pen before. I've never owned a bait pen, so I'm trying to make this as easy as possible. So I've removed much of the tool requirements. I've removed the need for PVC pipe, and I'm going to do this in about 30 minutes. So if you want to see how I do this, stay tuned. We need a couple of pool noodles, a bag of zip ties, a rope, something to cut with, and a drill. We're also going to need 3 hula hoops and a roll of hardware fabric. Now I got this. This is 15 feet long by 3 feet wide. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is form really a cylinder with the hardware fabric by just wrapping it around the first hula hoop and zip tying it tight. Now I want to space these zip ties in a way where you're not leaving any kind of gap that a fish or a crab or a shrimp would be able to get out. So you just want to make sure it's nice and tight. Okay, once we've got the first hula hoop secured, then we're just going to cut off the extra hardware fabric with about 6 inches of overlap. Then using zip ties, we're just going to secure that overlap so that we have a nice cylinder formed with the hardware fabric. All right, and we're going to do the bottom just like we did the top. Insert the hula hoop and secure it with zip ties. Then go by each zip tie and just cut it down to size to give it a nice clean finish. Next, we're going to cut down the pool noodles right down the length of it and place them over the top hula hoop. This forms the top of the bait pen, which will float. And once we've placed it, we're just going to secure it with some zip ties. Now just clean all the zip ties off by cutting off the extra bits, and we've got the bait pen pretty much done. We just need a top and a bottom. Okay, to make the top of the bait pen, we're just going to lay a hula hoop over the hardware fabric and cut out a nice square that gives us plenty of room for the entire hula hoop. Then we're going to go around and connect the hula hoop to the hardware fabric using zip ties. Once we've got it pretty secure to the hardware fabric, that allows us to go around and cut a, well, pretty much perfect circle to make sure it's nice and clean for the top of your bait pen. And now that it's fairly clean, we're just going to go through real thoroughly and add more zip ties to make sure that there's no gaps that like I said, a bait fish or a shrimp or a crab could possibly crawl out. And once we're nice and secure, then we're going to go through with our scissors and just clean up the extras. Now that the top is complete, we're going to do the exact same thing with the bottom. We're just going to cut out a section of hardware fabric that fits the entire hula hoop and connect it with the zip ties. Then just go around and make sure that the zip ties are cleaned up so that it gives it a nice clean finish. It's great if you have an assistant willing to get in the bait pen to help you connect all the zip ties, but be careful, she may get stuck. That's not bad news though, it proves the bait pen works. Okay, the bait pen is coming together. We've got the main bait pen portion and we've got the top. We just need to connect it. Now you can do this in a couple ways, but I'm just going to use some zip ties. 3 loops actually form a hinge, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a loop around the hula hoop forming the top section. I'm going to make a loop around the pool noodle section, and I'm going to connect these 2 loops with another loop, and that is going to form a hinge. All right, and just to make this look a little bit more subtle in the water and a little bit more camouflage, I'm just going to spray paint it like a nice charcoal or black. Also, just attach your rope to the top and drill a couple holes in the bottom hula hoop, which will allow your bait well bottom to sink properly in the water. All right, there you go. In under 30 minutes and for less than $70, we have a nice new bait pen that is storing all kinds of things that will hopefully help me catch more fish. All right, everyone, I'll see you next time.